Hey everybody, this is Jimo from Pulsesetter Sounds, and here we're just going to show you a contextual walkthrough for Handpan Machina. It's going to be a long one. I'll show some of the sounds, show the GUI, talk a little bit more about the project. But if you just want to check out the sounds and more presets, just straight head over to pulsesetter.com or our YouTube channel. Some other of our videos are just going to show the sounds and examples and all of that. Okay, so I guess we can go first through some of the sounds in the features section so you get an idea. There's a ton of those because you see there are 35 here. So action we have 24, dark horror, sort of more laid back, and then I'll talk more about the sort of regular ones, pads and so on. Okay, it's a lot to talk about, but again, if you just want to check out more of the sounds, head over to pulsesetter.com or our YouTube channel where you see a lot more videos. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the project and sort of the contextual side. So Handpan Machina is a collaboration we did with Greg Tripi. He recorded a whole bunch of loops, sort of regular handpan tune percussion loops. He has these a bunch of these sort of halo drums. They sound amazing. So we used them to record, to actually do multi-samples. We also did loops, and we also did pads, modern sort of styles, and you can see them here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about both folder structure and idea. We recorded so many samples that we decided to split them up. If not, it's just going to be too much. So it's 4 main instruments, and they'll have a mix of plucks, pads, multi-sample, regular sort of multi-sampled space drum or halo drum, natural loops, NL, and then unnatural loops, UNL, which is sort of... So all of these we made them from the actual recordings, the multi-samples, so even the plucks. They're very unique. 4 times round robin, so it's very expressive. Okay, so for the GUI, we made it sort of deceptively simple. So it's a 4-layer GUI. So in the top left side, you can have 4 different sounds. On the top right, you have a way to control what we call the space and color, which is a series of effects that you control sort of in real time, and you can record the movement. And then if you press edit here, you can go into the GUI where you can control, you can select what you want to, effects that you want to add or mix or ADSR and all of that. So I'm going to dive a little bit into that, but before, I'm just going to show you something very cool. I cannot believe this is not on more instruments like this. So the little lock feature that you see here, so you press them, and it's basically how you create your ostinato, sort of something very useful in film scoring where you anchor one sound but bring in other sounds later on here. So going back to the GUI, this is sort of the eagle eye view, I call it, where you can select for each layer. So you see the numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have your mix where you can change volume, octave, ADSR, filter, cutoff, distortion, plus, you know, step sequencer. LFO targets the most obvious ones. And unsync will give you some sort of MIDI parameters where you can change the knobs in real time. So it's very nice. And then envelope sequencer, same thing as the LFO. You just have to remember not to double up on the... Oh, and this LFO, the filter, is this filter up here. So regular EQ, delay, and then mute the whole thing, and then bypass all the effects. So that same thing is the same thing for this 4 layers. That's why it's the same color. And you see here left pad, which is all the sounds here. Then for the right pad is this sounds, and you edit how much you want, how much distortion you want. Oops. So again, it's a way to just create more expression. Chord is sorry, it just duplicates the sound and changes the chord. Very powerful. Then for convolution, we added it's basically the regular convolution engine from Kontakt, which is pretty cool, but the IRs is what makes it special. So we made a whole tons of weird IRs. It creates a sort of eerie effects. And then we have on the space, you know, in the X side axis, it's sort of similar, but more effects, spatial sounds. So phaser, chorus, delay, regular reverb, and another convolution, which is you can bypass those. Okay, and then the master section has filter, EQ, compressor, delay, reverb, limiter, the most common things, and then our big master filter. Okay, the sequencer. Let's talk about the sequencer. So it's a 3-mode sequencer: chord sequencer, arpeggiator, and then pitch sequencer. So the pitch sequencer, you change the pitches here, and arpeggiator, the octave, gonna be like a synth, right? It's just, and then chord sequencer is just your regular, and it has ties, so it's very cool. And then the amount knob is basically the how much velocity. And each layer has its own sequencer. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll just leave some of the sounds up here. So if you watch the whole video or you skipped around, here they are.